welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on a Wednesday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go to our friends over in South Australia. Of course, it is coming up now to round 4 of the AVSL competition. And of course, for the Adelaide Storm, of course, last weekend they played the Queensland Pirates. For the women's and the men's, the men's won and the women's lost on the weekend in both a thrilling 5-set in both games. And of course, we've got two very special guests joining us right now from the Storm to tell us a bit about it. Thanks both for joining us.
Thanks for
No
having
worries.
us.
Thanks for having us.
No worries. Well, I'll get both of you to introduce yourselves and what position both of you play on the court.
I'll start. My name is Jordan Culotti. I am a setter play for the Adelaide Storm men's team.
And I'm Danusha Sipa-Borjo. Most people call me Nush, though, because it's a lot easier. And I'm mainly a libero for the Adelaide Storm.
Played the Queensland Pirates on the weekend. Tell us a bit about your respective games, considering obviously in this new format, it has to go the full 5 sets, but it was a 3-2 result in different ways for both your teams.
Yeah, so our men's team, we got up 3-2, which was great. That was actually the first time apparently that we've beaten the Pirates, which I didn't realise until after the game. So that's pretty cool that we finally beat them and at home as well, our first home game of the season. All the guys played really well, enough to get the job done and stay on top of the ladder as well. So that's great.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we lost 3-2. Going to the 5th set, it was 2-2, so we did have a chance to win the game. The Pirates played really well, and Adelaide Storm, the girls team, we had a really good battle, and it was really close there, right until the end, where we kind of became a bit more inconsistent and let it slip. But also our game, there was a lot of substitutions in our game where we saw the majority of our players play, and the people that stepped off the bench, such as Chloe and Elkie, did a marvelous job coming on, especially in those hitting positions. So it was a really good game, even though we lost that.
Jordan, your team obviously won the first set, 18-15, and then got behind in that game before you came back in the 4th and 5th set reasonably easy. What was said after the third set when you were down 2-1?
So the reason they got up quite well in that third set was that they basically used their power play at a really good time. So we didn't use one that set, I don't believe, but they used theirs. And when you win a point with the power play, it's worth 2 points. So for those 3 consecutive points, they can get 2 points for each of those 3. So they used that really well, and I think they won those 3 points, and then they're 6 points ahead. So it's really hard to catch up from there. So I think that's how they got ahead really well there. But yeah, luckily we managed to bring it back in the 4th and 5th.
Nisha, of course, you were on the opposite end of it when you actually got ahead 2-1. And I was completely blitzing them in the third set, 18-7 against the defending champs. What seemed to turn? And obviously, even though you lost the 4th set pretty close, but what seemed to change?
I think we just became really inconsistent with a range of things. Like we kind of didn't do a good pass on one point, and then it was like we didn't get a defensive up, and then we might have served out. So I think it's hard to pinpoint exactly where it kind of broke down, because in the 5th it was pretty close until I think there was like 13-14, and then we kind of let off the last few points, so couldn't quite finish it strong enough. And I think we lost a point or two, and I think lost a bit of confidence in our ability, which was unfortunate. Yeah.
I have to ask both of you this question. Obviously, I had another team on the show last week about this same thing. Obviously, you play in the full 5 sets, but obviously it's it's normally first to 25, but it's obviously you're playing to 18. And obviously the power plays you mentioned, Jordan, before. How has the team adapted to it? And do you like it?
So I actually don't mind the fast pace of it. It is very fast paced compared to what we usually play. Even, once you finish the point, you basically have to get back and ready to serve very quickly. But because it's to 18, you're not completely stuffed by the end of the set. But I actually, I don't mind the new format, and I think it's good for the viewers as well. It's almost like the BBL in cricket, so it's a bit more like that, and I think it's bringing a few more spectators to the sport. So yeah, I enjoy it.
I think it's really good. It's really challenging, something that I think in my all my time playing volleyball I've never seen. So it's like you're not going through the motions of what you've been used to for so many years. All of a sudden, like, you're having to relearn a different kind of style of game, even though it's the same dig, set, spike, everything like that. It's a massive mindset shift of like, oh, we're going to play it when we're serving or not serving, and it's really important that we put the ball here in that point. Or so you're really having to think a lot more than normal, because it is worth, double points. And if you win those double points, it's a massive advantage to your team. So you're really switched on to when they've played it as well. And it's immense amount of pressure. And I think especially it's really felt for maybe our younger players who haven't, this is their first time playing at this level. And all of a sudden now an error might be worth 2 points. I've quite liked the challenge.
Obviously, you're preparing for Canberra this week. Obviously, for the men's, obviously we mentioned before the women's had to play the defending champs last week. Now, obviously, it's now the men's turn to play the defending champs in Canberra. For both teams, how's the preparations been like?
I think we're very well prepared. The good thing about us is that we basically have the same team as last year. So we have that camaraderie in the group. And yeah, we're ready to take the challenge on. And I know that Canberra's got a few changes from last year, so it's going to be interesting to see how they match up against us now with those changes. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend and to see how we play against these guys, because they are one of the better sides we play as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to this round. I used to play for Canberra. I grew up in Canberra, so very keen for that rivalry, as I know the girls pretty well. So I know their game plan as well pretty well. And our coach knows their game plan usually pretty well too. So we've been prepping what their normal play is in training, getting really competitive. It's a really important match for both us and Canberra, because we're both sitting third and fourth, and this win can potentially solidify one of the teams for finals. So yeah, we're really keen and just can't wait for Saturday.
It'll be your second straight home game this coming weekend there at the Lights. How good is to have a crowd that you had last week, and especially now hopefully you can have those crowd and hopefully more going to the big game against the Super Heat?
Yeah, no, it's been awesome playing at home again. You don't actually get to do it too often, representing Adelaide itself, and because you play state league and stuff, and you're always at home, but you don't. When you're playing for Adelaide, you have all these people that play for different clubs coming to watch you, and all your family and all that sort of stuff. So it's really cool. And yeah, hopefully we'll get even bigger numbers this week. We had a good turnout on Saturday. But yeah, hopefully we'll get even bigger numbers, and we have another home game next week as well. So hope to have even more after that. Yeah.
Yeah, likewise. The crowd was amazing this past weekend. They were so loud. Our commentators live were just awesome, revving them up, and we had a DJ as well. So the vibes were high. Yeah, and all the family, friends, all the girls have so many people coming to watch. So it's great.
I think one player each from your team that got named in the team of the week just recently. Actually, I'm pretty sure, Nisha, you were one of them that was in the team of the week. And obviously, for Jordan, I think Nathan Roberts, I'm pretty sure, was the other one for the men's this week. For you, Nisha, how special was you to be named in the team of the week? And Jordan, tell us a bit about how in the importance of Nathan's game last week to be named in the team of the week.
Yeah, Nathan always plays a massive role in our team. He's had the most experience out of all of us. I think he's he's close to 40 now, I reckon. But
Mhm.
yeah, Nathan has a massive impact with us. He just swings his arm so fast that it's really hard to block that ball. So yeah, he definitely deserves player the pass hitter of the week. So yeah, excited to see what he can do this weekend as well.
Yeah, it's pretty special. I was pretty surprised. I never kind of think of that stuff, but I've been getting some nice messages today, which shows like a massive support from the team, getting around everyone. And I think it's such an honor to be a player of the week. But I think everyone also has such a big role in you being able to get that. So
Now, I know I guess last season, I think the men's, did you make the grand final last year in the men's?
Yeah.
Yep. And I know the girls crashed out in the bronze medal clash against the Vipers. So is the aim to hopefully come down to Victoria for the final and hopefully bring back the trophy back over the other side of the border?
Yeah, that's always the aim. The aim is to win. So yeah, we are very hopeful that we can be in that gold medal position this year rather than tasting the silver. So yeah, we're very much looking forward to being in Bendigo and hopefully taking that win. And I know that the girls are in the same position as well.
yes, 100%. And I think the seasons, with only playing everyone once this year, anything can happen, and anything can happen at finals. So a team might finish fourth and then come out gold. You just never know. And with the power plays and stuff, it's so close. So we're super keen to try to get to finals and bring back a gold, 100%.
How did both of you get involved in volleyball and why did you choose it?
Mine started with back in high school. So I went to Heathfield High School, which is a special interest volleyball school. So basically, it's a subject. So yeah, I started through that. Made state teams, national teams, played professional in Europe as well. So yeah, it's been a part of my life for the last 15 years or something now, which sounds like a lot to say considering I'm only 27. So yeah, so no, it's been a part of my life for so long. And because it was basically a lifestyle choice, it's just been the center of my life for so long. And now stepping away from it a little bit, but still playing at this sort of level, it's got its benefits because it's more of a fun thing to do rather than it being like a career sort of thing. It's more just more of a hobby, I guess now. But it's really great that we have such a high level in Australia, and I'm able to actually play at this level even at home. So yeah, it's been really good.
My story's a little unique, I guess. Both my parents played in the national team and coached the national team. And my uncle's currently coaching the women's national team as well. So I guess my extended family's all kind of been involved a lot in volleyball. So from a young age, just went to the local club training. Dad started training us, and we got a group of young girls together to make a team, and then I've kind of just gone from there, playing for Canberra, then played in the Australian team and in college in the US, and now back after 2 years of a break so I could get my Masters of Teaching, back with the Adelaide Storm and absolutely loving it again. So super keen to be back at a high level and being really competitive with all these amazing people around us. And in Adelaide, we have some great talent here, with a lot of players playing in the national team as well. So
both you mentioned right at the start what position you both play on the court. If you had a dream position where you'd love to convince your coaches now to put you, where would that be? Be honest.
I'd love to be a pass hitter, but I've had 2 shoulder surgeries, so I'm unable to do that anymore. But yeah, if I was a little bit taller, could jump a little higher, then yeah, pass hitter for sure.
I reckon I would love to be a setter. I think a setter just has so much control of the game, and you get to, touch the ball every time it crosses. So yeah, I'd definitely love to transition to a setter.
What does the sport of volleyball mean to both you, and especially being part of the Adelaide Storm?
I mean, as I said, I've been playing volleyball for so long, and it became a lifestyle for me. And it's just something that I couldn't get enough of, basically. I ended up being overseas and training 24/7, and it was basically my job, which was you can't get any better than that, doing something you love as a job. So yeah, I got really lucky there. So yeah, it means a whole lot. And then now being able to play for Adelaide Storm at home and being in such a high level competition in Australia is awesome. So yeah, really, really enjoying it.
100% agree with everything Jordan said. It means a lot, I guess. It's basically the fun in the week while it's such like, competitive and everything, but the community is brilliant in Adelaide, in Melbourne, in Queensland. I think the volleyball community is a really tight-knit community and is over half the reason of why I love it so much is you just see and play with awesome people and surrounded by fabulous people, and you get to travel with it. And yeah, it's just really good fun and at a high level competing, and it's just the fun part.
Misha, you mentioned before that you played college over in the US. You must have tell us where that was, and have you convinced any of them to hopefully play for the Storm in future years?
Yeah, so I played in two really small schools, one in Texas called Blinn, and another one, SSS Go Dogs in Oklahoma. Really small. Yeah, you gotta love it. I have all these dog shirts and they all anyway. But yeah, I've tried to convince a bunch to come over and play, especially because in the US after college, they're all kind of done. They don't do any kind of adult volleyball. So they don't get why we're still posting photos of volleyball and it's like past the college stage. So I'm trying to convince them to come over. But likewise, I'm trying to convince some of our younger players to go and experience that college life and bring back that experience. Because a lot of them could definitely make it big over there.
Now, Jordan, you mentioned about your school, which I know there's a bit of a rivalry between your, obviously, former school and Brighton, which are the two big volleyball-based schools over there in South Australia. Have you claimed a state championship when you were playing for Heathfield, and especially against your rivals, Brighton?
Yeah, we're massive rivals, actually. And yeah, I think we beat Brighton in most of our state rivals. So I was fortunate that I had a really good team at Heathfield when I was playing there. We got a few national titles as well.
Correct.
So yeah, we had a really good team. So yeah, up the Heathfield.
Yeah. Now, I'm so glad you mentioned about the national titles that you've won as well, which obviously I think most of them were down here in Melbourne. I think obviously Melbourne had it for a long time. Is there one year that stands out to you the most?
Yeah, the Open Honours, it being my last year at school. And then we beat Ross Moyne from WA in a 5-set thriller, basically. It was one of the best games I've been a part of. And yeah, we got that job done. And to end schooling on a high like that was, pretty surreal. So that's definitely going to be my favourite, I think.
Misha, for you, going back to college for a moment, is there one standout game that stands out to you the most?
Probably SWASU, like our senior night, the last night in front of like your home crowd as like the old, like the last year in the school. Yeah, it was just a massive, I think 5-setter game, and I felt like I was in like that zone of like everything I did just happened to go right, and I didn't really know what I was doing like on purpose, but it just went well, and it was a really exciting game, and we had all the fraternities and stuff dressed up, and it was just awesome vibes.
What would be your advice to people that should get involved in volleyball? Especially, I know obviously volleyball is heavy over there in South Australia, but for anyone that should, maybe if they're haven't been involved in volleyball and that should get involved in it.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're young and yet to go to high school, then Heathfield or Brighton, I definitely recommend. Um, if you want to get involved in that community, but then if you're a little older, then we've got a range of clubs around Adelaide, so you could get online and just look up a volleyball club near me, and one of them will pop up, and they're always looking for new players. So, and we're always looking to build the volleyball community in South Australia. So yeah, jump online and get involved in one of the clubs because yeah, they'd love to have you.
100%. Look up the clubs. There's so many clubs around Australia, and not even just Adelaide, like just in general. Take a friend along, go to a training, because you don't even have to play. You can just train for a bit if you're a bit nervous, and everyone's so inviting. So, and there's heaps of even social comps. If you just want to get involved in a lower level. And I know there's lots of beach as well. So depending on time of the year, yeah, try out one of the many options.
You might as well give your state league teams a bit of a shout out. And how did you fare this year? And how many of those players are in your Storm team now?
I play for Mount Lofty, up the ranges. Yeah, so I think we finished the regular season in second behind Norwood, and then we managed to get to the final with Norwood, and unfortunately went down in five, lost 15-13 in the last set. But I feel like that was the best game I've ever been a part of, honestly. The standard was unbelievable for a state league game. And yeah, so that was an unreal game to be a part of. And luckily, I'm pretty lucky because I get to share Adelaide Storm with about five other guys in my club from Mount Lofty. So yeah, we have quite a few of them. So yeah, it's great to be able to share that with them.
The same outcome as Jordan. I'm a part of a different team, but we also came second, unfortunately. I'm a part of USC Lion. And it's a singular lion, not lions. It's lion. I've been told many times. And yes, go the lion. Anyway, we came second. Really great season. Our team is probably average age 18 or below. So I was one of the oldies. Many of the girls a part of the USC line in our Storm squad. A lot of as development players, but a lot that have stepped up to the plate, like Cam, Isaiah, and Lana, Georgie, Chelsea came on and was one of our most used setters this weekend. And of course, Rebecca Reeve, our savior in the passing line most days. But yeah, had a great season with them. It was my first season with them, and they were very welcoming and very competitive. So yeah, really enjoyed it.
Finish with these last couple. Who's the comedian, the best singer, and into their TikTok/Be Real in your respective teams in the Storm lineup?
For me, I'd say comedian would have to be one of two, Regan Fathers and Cooper Peacock. They're a duo to be messed with. That's for sure. Best singer, probably Harry Peacock. I actually heard him in the change rooms last weekend, and I was like, he's actually not too bad. So weirdly, yeah, Harry Peacock might be the best singer. And TikTok, Be Real. Not sure about Be Real, but TikTok, I'd go Ryan Scudder because he had a famous chest pass that he put on TikTok, and it went viral and got like 5 or 6 million views. It was ridiculous. So yeah, I'd say Ryan Scudder for that.
For our team, TikTok, someone that trained with us a lot, but is being overseas with the national team, Tara Malin, has gone like viral on TikTok. Yeah, look her up. She's got a lot of views. She's a great TikToker. Then we've got our comedian. I'd probably go Lana Holloway. She speaks probably 90% of the time in an American accent and has convinced too many people she is American. So that's great. And then best singer. Ooh, maybe Elkie.
We'll finish with this last one, which is Two-part question. The first part is, do either of you have a pre-game superstition or ritual? And the second part of that question, does the team have a fine system? And if so, who cops the most fines?
We don't have a fine system, but I mean, we do have a rule that, if you serve under the net on the full, then you owe us a case of beers, basically.
Yes.
Which I feel which is a pretty common one, but I feel like that's pretty fair considering. And then the superstition one, I don't really have one at the moment for AVL or AVSL, sorry. But the like during the state league season and stuff, at the start of the season, if we win a game, I'll basically redo whatever I did that morning for the rest of the season. If it doesn't work, I'll do what I did the next time, kind of thing. So whether it's go out for breakfast or eat something specific, I don't know, but yeah, I'll just recreate what I did basically.
Yeah, likewise, not too many superstitions, but for in the state league games, we had a really good game, and then I just wanted to repeat what I did that morning for the next game, but it didn't work. So then I just didn't worry about it anymore. And then fine system. We don't have a fine system, but we're expected to be at training 20 minutes early. And I would say if we did have a fine system, there would be a couple people copying a lot of fines, but they know. They know who they are.
Okay. Well, both of you, thank you so much for giving up some of your time to join us. Best of luck this week against the Canberra Super Heat at the Lights this weekend, and let's hope you can make it 2 from 2. Of course, obviously, both men's and women's win on the same day, and hopefully we'll see you down here in Victoria for the finals in mid-September.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having us. Really appreciate it. And yeah, go Adelaide Storm.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No worries. And that's Nisha and Jordan there, joins from the Adelaide Storm volleyball team. And of course, as we mentioned, they got the game against the Super Heat, of course, at the Lights this Saturday. We'll put all the details up on how you can get tickets for that game. There's more on the Smash Sport Show right after this. Don't go away here on the 10th year celebration.